This holiday at T-Mobile, it's not about how far apart we are. It's about how close we can be. So we're bringing out our best deal. Right now, get the iPhone 12 on us on every single plan with eligible iPhone trade-in.
Cool. So I can FaceTime with my sister in Savannah.
That's right. The iPhone 12 on us on every plan on America's largest 5G network. It's time to holiday on with T-Mobile.
With 30 monthly bill credits plus tax. If you cancel credit, stop and balance on required finance agreement may be due. Contact us for well-qualified buyers. Qualifying consumer plan required. See coverage and offer details at T-Mobile.com.
Welcome, readers. Today on Book Chat, I am sharing with you AudioFile Magazine's Best of Mystery and Suspense audiobooks for 2020. Also, I have an exclusive conversation with award-winning audiobook narrator Imogen Church. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Tamara Ford, and welcome to Book Chat here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Thanks so much for downloading today's episode. I really appreciate you for being here. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with some book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. That would really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing so. As I mentioned earlier, today's episode has some fun things in store for you. I am sharing AudioFile Magazine's Best of Mystery and Suspense audiobooks for 2020, and I'm having an exclusive conversation with audiobook narrator Imogen Church. So let's jump right on in, shall we? If you are unaware, every year AudioFile Magazine puts out a list of best audiobooks, and this year I was happy and fortunate enough to share with you one of my favorite genres lately, and that is mystery and suspense. If you head on over to shelfaddiction.com, you can not only see all 6 of these titles, you can listen to samples, and if you click on the cover artwork, you can go to AudioFile's review of these titles. So these are 6 that they found extremely pleasing, and they made the list for this category. So I will just share this list with you, and again, feel free to head on over to shelfaddiction.com to get more of the details and listen to snippets. So this list is in no particular order, so we're just gonna jump right on in. The first book is High Five by Joe Ide, read by Zeno Robinson. The next book is The Last Tourist, written by Olin Steinhauer, read by David Pitu. The next book is All the Devils Are Here, written by Louisa Penny, read by Robert Bathurst. Next is The Law of Innocence, written by Michael Connolly, read by Peter Giles. Also, The Searcher, written by Tanya French, read by Roger Clark. Lastly, One by One, written by Ruth Ware and read by Imogen Church, who is here today to talk a little bit about this book. Imogen Church is an award-winning actress and writer. She is best known for her voice work and has narrated hundreds of audiobooks, as well as starred in audio dramas and being the voice of the Harry Potter quiz on Alexa UK and the Wizarding World quiz in the US. Imogen's debut novel, Death by the Burlesque Maiden, inspired by her past life as a burlesque dancer and performance poet, will be out on Audible Originals in early 2021. Imogen is tall, fairly weird, has tattoos, and happily does not fit into any recognizable box in the entertainment industry. Imogen has narrated One by One, but also many more of Ruth Ware's audiobooks, several of which have made their way onto AudioFile's list of best audiobooks in the past, including The Woman in Cabin 10 and The Death of Mrs. Westaway. Without further delay, let's start the conversation. Hi, Imogen. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited that you get to join us from all the way across the pond. That's rare for me to have someone from over there. So I'm so happy you're here.
Oh, I'm pleased. Good. It's good to be here.
Oh, I love your accent, by the way. So we are here because you have one of your audiobooks celebrated in the 2020 best audio books list put together by AudioFile Magazine. So that's exciting.
I know, right? It's awesome. I feel like I should buy myself a new frock.
You should.
Just to wear in the house, obviously, because it's 2020. I'll just get dressed up in it and hang around in my bedroom feeling
Well,
good.
you could do like some celebratory Instagram post with your new frock. That's what you
Yes,
could do.
I like that.
Awesome. So the book that was on the list is One by One by Ruth Ware. And I noticed you do a lot of her books.
Yeah, I mean, I've done all of her. I believe she started off writing YA stuff, but since she's graduated to kind of grown-up mysteries, it's been me. I think really she got lumbered with me because I was asked to do her first one when no one knew who she was. And then people just got really into the partnership, and now she can't ditch me. Poor woman.
You guys are stuck with each other.
Yes, poor thing. I keep telling her, if you want to write a book from a man's perspective, do it. Expect the wrath of the listeners, but do it.
No, but you guys make a great team. Like, I love the pairing of you two.
I love it too. It's great.
Tell me a little bit about like your listening habits. Do you listen to audiobooks for fun?
Well, I grew up listening to audiobooks, which is why I just couldn't believe it when I ended up being paid to do it for a living. That's how I learned to read, really. I absolutely loved audiobooks. But then for a long time, because I am a voracious reader, I was just reading. And then Audible kept giving me free credits to listen to books with. And I realized that I was totally hooked. And now I am also a punter. So yeah, I listen all the time, walking the dog, doing the washing up, doing the ironing, having a bath. Yeah, I listen a lot.
That's awesome. What have you been listening to lately?
Oh my God, I just finished Choreography, Corey Feldman's memoir. It was heartbreaking.
Oh, man.
It was so tough. It was really, really, I found myself really interested in memoir, actually. Maybe it's because I work on fiction kind of all day, every day, pretty much. Yeah, I listened to Alan Cumming's book before that, Not My Father's Son, and that was also really, really brutal.
You've had some heavy listening recently.
I know, right? Is it a 2020 thing? Who knows?
Well, people that listen to this podcast are not only readers, they're also audiobook enthusiasts, and sometimes they're people that want to become narrators. So with that in mind, do you have any advice that you like to give people who want to get into what you're doing?
Yeah, first of all, be really honest with yourself. Are you obsessed with reading enough? Because some people like the idea of it, but the reality of sitting in a box hour after hour, just you reading. When some people come to maybe do an audition or try it out, it is way too hard and not what they were expecting. So probably be really honest. If you can sit and read uninterrupted for a couple of hours, I certainly can, then yeah, that might be the right job for you. But if you find yourself twitching after 20 minutes and you want to go and have a break, that might be a good indicator that sitting in a box narrating all day is not for you. Yeah. And also just try it at home. If no one's around, or if someone's around, who knows? Just read out loud for as long as you can until you drive your family insane and see how you find it.
Oh my gosh. You know what? That is really good advice. I've never heard that one before. It's brand new. But I can see your point. Like, if you can't even sit there for 20 minutes, you might have a problem.
Totally. And do you know what? Even some really good, really experienced actors will come in and give it a go and go, oh my God, I suck at this, and never come back.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so crazy. But yeah, okay, great news. You guys should listen to Imogen because she is a boss in narration. She knows what she's talking about. So let's talk a little bit about One by One. Can you give us a little bit of the framework on that book?
Okay, so it is set in a snowy chalet halfway up a mountain, and there's an avalanche and the power goes out. and people start to die. So it's your classic kind of Agatha Christie type, stuck in a snowy chalet with no phone reception, no electricity, and no way out because they are literally snowed in up to the tops of the windows.
Yeah.
So it is incredibly tense. And the end, which I don't want to give away too much, but the end took it out of me, the way the last two characters escape. It's just she is an absolute queen at tension, mystery, all of that stuff. She really is a modern Agatha Christie. So
yeah. There was a lot going on in that book, and there were quite a few characters that you had to perform. How did you manage to juggle like the men, the women, like the staff? How did you figure them out?
You know what? That was easy compared to doing like a sprawling 4-book fantasy, say, where you might have 50 different characters and they might come from all over the imaginary globe, and sometimes you have to make up an accent for them as in not even an existing accent. So that was considerably easier than doing, say, a sci-fi or a fantasy. But yeah, I had to go through and make really clear notes about who has what voice, who has what relationship to who, because when you have a scene and there's 7 people in a room all chatting away to each other, it's really hard. And sometimes accents that characters have do not gel well in conversation. So it's really weird if you are trying to talk to yourself as an Australian person and a New Zealand person. Oh God, that's hard, because they're really similar, but they have some really clear differences. But to hop in and out of those 2 accents whilst talking to yourself that's really tricky.
I can see that. And actually I'm not good at, different accents. Obviously I'm not a narrator, but I've got to ask, how do you figure out and keep track of whose accent is what? If you're 50% in, I don't know, you took a day off, you come back. How does that work?
Yeah, if it's really, really dense with characters, I have a whole page that sometimes I just have to take a pause and refer back to and remind myself who this person is. And it might not just be accent, it might be their age or their size or a speech impediment or something like that. It is quite a lot of work. So again, that is something, for me personally, the way I narrate, I enjoy the performative aspect of it and giving everyone really distinct voices. So obviously, if you want to get into it, you need to feel, even if you're not really, really hot on accents, you need to be able to differentiate those characters. Otherwise, the listener is just going to get so lost.
Yeah. As a listener, it's really important because you can tell with you who is who. You really can. And sometimes that gets lost in audiobooks. And it's so sad when that happens. You're like, wait, who's talking? Wait, what happened?
Well, as I'm now a punter, as an adult, moving on from kids' books that I grew up with, yeah, I find the same. And actually, it really is true that the narrator can make or break it. I've had to return a couple of books because I don't even know what it was, but something about the narrator just really turned me off. It didn't work for me. I couldn't see the pictures in my head. So yeah, it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. So with all of the characters in this book, do you have a favorite that you liked narrating for the best?
I liked Danny because he was proper South London, lad, but he was also gay, completely not a big deal about it. And he would swim in the pool at the chalet in gold hot pants that said boy. I just had such a clear image of his tight little butt with this word boy written across it on these gold lame swim shorts.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
so yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Oh my gosh, I love it. After you finish this, are you doing something else for Ruth Ware next? What's up next for you? Or do you have something outside of this going on?
Well, Ruth does about a book a year. So every summer I'm sitting around going, yeah, I get to do a Ruth Ware. Although we did do an online murder mystery event to celebrate the publishing of the book. So it was Ruth, as this old fusty crime writer, Clive Barking, and me and a bunch of her crime writing pals. And we played all these ridiculous characters trying to solve a crime. And people came and watched, and it was great fun. So we did do that together.
Oh my gosh, that sounds really awesome. When was that? Is it available to see later?
Oh, I don't know, actually. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it is, but I know you can buy a version of the game to play at home with your friends. That was on the UK pub date, which was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay.
We did that together. But yeah, I just do books back to back, really. And I write as well. So I've got my own novel coming out in February.
I didn't know you were a writer.
So
what do you write?
Well, I used to be a performance poet, so I do a lot of poetry, but it's really wrong, like satirical comic stuff. And then I wrote a lot of film screenplays, one of which potentially is being made. And then Audible said to me, would you write us a book that you can narrate as well? And I went, yeah, why not? So they asked for a crime novel, possibly because that's what I'm really well known for. So obviously I kind of wrote a crime novel. It's more of a comedy crime caper set in an alternate world of like steampunk and strippers. So that'll be out in February. So that's weird. I'll be narrating that in a couple of weeks.
And strippers?
Yeah, it's a
that is an interesting combo. Okay, I gotta check this out. Okay.
It's a murder mystery set in a burlesque club. And it's kind of inspired by the years when I was a burlesque performer and performance poet and striptease. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I might have to see if you're open to come on and talk about that, because I feel like I need to read that, and I feel like I'm gonna need to talk about that, because those things kind of just set off alarms in my head. Like, wait, what is this?
What did she just say?
Yeah. And then, of course, get the inside scoop on, the backstory of things. I got to get that.
Well, it kind of relates to how I even got into audiobooks, but that's we could save that for next time. It's a long story.
Awesome. So something that I do here for interviews, and I didn't warn you, but it's called a lightning round. Are you interested in a lightning round?
I'm very interested.
Okay, yes. Listeners love this, and I feel like I can't prep people because it's not as fun when you prep people.
It's not lightning then, is it? Lightning?
No.
Lightning reactions.
Yeah, I just think some people are scared, but I know you're not scared. You're not scared at all.
No.
Okay, so let's do it. I have a bunch of questions. You just answer as many as you can, as quick as you can. It's only 60 seconds. So I even have a timer because I will go over and keep asking more and more questions if I don't set the timer.
Okay.
And so let's jump into it. This should be fun. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Physical books or ebooks?
Physical.
Hero or villain?
Villain.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
If you could only narrate one genre forever, what would it be?
Comedy.
Bookstore or library?
Oh, library.
Meditation or yoga?
Oh my God. Coffee?
Fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
If you could pick one superpower, what would it be?
It would be... Oh my God, that's a really difficult one. It would be the power to have coffee available at any time of the day.
All right. Standalone titles or series?
Standalone.
All right, that's time. Technically 3 seconds over, but you see how I do? I keep going.
That was awesome. That was great. I like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I always like to do that. It's good fun. So thanks for doing it. And thank you for coming on. It's been so fun.
It's all right. It's good fun. It's always nice
quick
to
and
talk
fun.
about your job.
Yeah. So be sure to follow both AudioFile Magazine and Imogen Church on social media and pick up a copy of One by One on audiobooks. The link for everything I've mentioned are below in the show notes. So again, it's been a pleasure, Imogen. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
Absolutely. So thanks for listening, everyone. And until next time, take care of yourselves. If you enjoyed today's book chat episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review. You can follow me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. Most importantly, you can share this podcast with friends and family that enjoy all things bookish, including author interviews. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy reading.
Whether you host a nightly dinner party for 2 or 5, keeping your eating and dining area clean helps keep your mind on the dinner party and not on the cleanup afterwards. Viva paper towels clean like cloth, trapping splatters and sauces that could become countertop stains or stuck on messes, and they're 2 times more durable when wet compared to the leading value brand. For an exceptional cloth-like paper towel, there's Viva. Visit vivatowels.com to soak up the clean feeling of home.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report limitations apply.